Alrighty, I should be almost set up here. So let me just show you guys. By the way, how loud is the music? It might be a bit loud. Just enjoy the intro, let's put it that way. Be right back. Alrighty, I think I'm quote-unquote ready. I'm not sure you can be ready for this one, but...
I think you're good though. I think the music is okay.
Alright, sounds good. Thank you. Yes, that is not misspelled. It is Rocman X. So, I would like to point out that this game has about 1.5 things going for it. One is actually the pixel art. I think it actually looks pretty good, especially the font of this game. For an NES game, it's very easily readable. Like, you see a lot of NES games that have barely readable text. This one is pretty good. But also the pixel art is not too bad, I dare to say. The other one, the half one, is the music. And you will notice as to why it's a half one. So either way, this is Rocman X. It's actually originally called the game, that is, Thunderblastman X. And I kind of imagine that someone just wanted to sell more copies of the game and just slapped the label Rocman X on top of it for the unsuspecting ones that wanted to have a Rocman X. I believe the publisher or the creator of this game is called Sachen or Sachen, I don't know. I think it's a Korean company. Might be Thai? I think it might be Taiwanese. Either way, I would say let's get this going in 3, 2, 1, and let's move. So first of all, you have a stage select. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 stage. Well, let me tell you, you don't really have much of a choice. If you choose any but this stage, you might not get particularly far. So, first of all, you have this really awesome dash ability, but the problem about the dash ability is that it really... You cannot stop it in transition, and even though it looks like he is stretching out his fist in order to deal damage, it does not deal damage at all. You just take damage, and that's it. Also, while charging up the charge or fly attack thing, you are susceptible to getting hit. If you get hit, you lose your entire charge. One nice thing about this game is, for an NES game, it actually, you can throw your attack weapon in 3 different directions. I just hope that I don't mess this up too much. I need to grab a little bit more money. There we go. I think that's good enough, we'll see. Then, we need to take the second exit to this stage. So this game even has multiple exits to this stage. And this is the second one. Now, the second exit lands you further away from the exit in the second stage, but for a very good reason. We go over here and into this little side area. Honestly, the levels design is actually kind of another nice thing about this game. It's very... you have nice things to explore, so this game is really not all bad. Even though it is generally considered to be one of the more questionable entries in the games. Your boomerang allows you to just deal damage to things. Also, by the way, continue? No. Continue? Yes. I'll explain that in a second. Your boomerang also collects items and such, which is really nice. So my first goal is to collect 500 monies, or I don't know what you want to call those, points. Either way, that's the first goal, because unless you upgrade your weapon in this game, you are probably not going to get too particularly far, since your basic weapon, it's not the worst, but at the same time, it deals significantly less damage than the other weapon. To be more specific, it deals about 3 times more damage if I upgrade my weapon. Also, you see me go in very specific patterns, just trying to preferably not die in this game, which is tricky but not impossible in any capacity. At the end of the second stage, in each one of the zones you can choose from, you can go into a shop and we buy the weapon upgrade. You actually don't want any of the other weapon upgrades because they're just pointless. So, and then, this guy here is the first boss that we encounter. He can only be hit in this very specific circumstance right there. I can try to hit him here. It only hits him when he is just blowing his, or chewing his bubble gum and blowing bubbles. And it's just kind of really awkward to try and hit him during this. And it takes a total of 9 hits. His behavior is exactly perfectly scripted. There is nothing random about it. He takes 9 hits, and I would like to, for you guys in chat, to guess how many hits would it take if I had the basic weapon instead of the upgraded one. Also, more cutscenes! Hooray! By the way, unfortunately, I cannot give you the true experience of this game. The true experience of this game would be in the vein of actually playing it on the real NES, which unfortunately I don't have, and there's no emulator that does this justice. Let me explain. This game, it has really heavy screen tearing if you are playing this on a regular NES. So it's really not built for regular NES. For some reason BizHawk emulates it the way it's probably supposed to be displaying it, but vertical scrolling just straight up does not really work in this game, which makes it a bit awkward. Okay, you're not normally here. High Spirit says 27, which by the way is the exact number of hits you need to hit the boss with in order to get through, so yes, 27 is correct. And here is why music is only half of a good point about this game. Just listen to this masterpiece. By the way, I'm taking an intentional death here real quick, just to refill my health. Continue? No. Continue? Yes. Either way, just listen to this amazing music right now. Oh boy, I really hope you guys enjoy this masterpiece of a music creation. It is definitely quite something. Alrighty, I have a little problem right now. And that problem is I'm not going to survive this next section because I took too much damage already. Alright, let me actually real quick explain the continue, yes, continue, no thing. Essentially, the game has 2 types of continues, and it doesn't really tell you what they do. One is a literal continue, which means you are going to continue exactly from where you are right now, which you have 1 of those continues from. The other ones you have infinite amounts of. Which, you know, I think, alrighty, that continuing from the literal place where I'm at sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it? Yes and no. Let me explain. The problem about the literal continue is that you lose all of your upgrades and weapons that you have purchased so far if you end up using it and die again. But as long as I don't use the literal continue, I'm perfectly fine. So I'm taking another intentional death. Always press continue no first. And this guy is perfectly scripted again as well. So I can hit him twice, then he throws again and dashes across the screen twice. Okay, also throws twice.
Can I read out some donations?
Sure, go ahead. This is kind of repetitive anyways here.
Okay, we have $7.77 from Scala Kitty. Please give me my lovely good taste palettes. And then, my name is Scala, not Natara. $20. I'm totally Scala, and I love bad taste in Final Fantasy Legend 2. And then $6 from Alter Maven. The Valhalla incentive not met. Let's fix this. Glad to see wonderful individual speedrunning for Take This. And I figured every little bit helps. Their AFK room is super effective. Half goes to FF Legend 2 incentive. Half goes to naming the Xanadu next character Meow.
Very nice, thank you very much for all the donations, I really appreciate it. By the way, let me guarantee you, aside from that last hit, I hit this guy as often and as frequently as is possible. It just the game doesn't let you hit him any more than what it is here. So, we actually get to the last zone here, which, if you ever try to start with this zone... Oh boy, I'm so sorry. It has the best music of the one, so that's a plus, but... Let me actually real quick explain something about this game that I can't really show off, but if you play this game on a regular NES, it actually has an off by one error for some reason, where instead of falling into your doom, like here in the air or earlier in the water, you would just stand on the water and you don't actually fall down at all. By the way, I love the idle animations. So, it's kind of fancy like that, I dare to say. Also, I have a setup here. Stop tapping your foot. So, what I want to do is... line myself up with this little pixel, and then I need to do a pretty precise dash to land exactly on this ledge. Because if I don't land exactly on this ledge, I'm going to be in deep trouble trying to defeat this mini-boss here. So, this mini-boss here, he takes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits. Which means that it's 30 hits with the regular weapon, and you're supposed to survive this without cheesing it like this. Well, good luck, I would say. In the middle, yes, you can fall down. By the way, you don't have to go down there in order to transition, you just go far enough to the right. And that kind of cheeses this entire thing rather heavily. And this is kind of a level where it's intentional that you can find those kinds of shortcuts and different paths, which is also why the level design in this game is actually not bad, really. It's just... the rest of the game doesn't do it any favor. Also, this one here has the vertical screen scrolling, which is also where I would love to show off the screen tearing that occurs normally on console, but unfortunately, you just have to imagine the screen wrapping around in weird ways and just doesn't make sense, because unfortunately, the Abyss Hawk just emulates this game properly. I did actually once have an emulator that emulated this game quote-unquote the correct way, the way an NES actually does play it. It was a very experimental emulator, and unfortunately I could not find it in the short time to set it up for the marathon here, but let me guarantee you, it's definitely a sight to behold. By the way, I do not want to kill those guys on the left side, otherwise there's a gigantic dinosaur spawning right here. And the exit is right up there. You have a lot of trouble navigating this place, with the vertical scrolling being strange. Oh, and this guy is kind of fun, because his attacks just straight up don't work while he's blinking. Like, I can just walk inside of him in order to do that. The downside is right now, okay, I'm just taking a death here. The downside is really that I don't remember the pattern exactly anymore, and this guy is kind of reliant on you just remembering what you need to do. Again, it's 9 hits, and after him, optimally you would not die to him, because normally in between levels you do not get healed, except for when you clear the last one of the 3 levels. So in between this one and the next level I get healed, because then we get to the quote-unquote Wily stages. Right. By the way, again, his attacks just straight up don't work, where he is supposed to summon those little icicles right now. Because he's blinking, it just doesn't. When he tries to do the Kamehameha or Hadouken, it just doesn't work because he's blinking. By the way, fun fact, if you duck and then unduck, the guy immediately enters the idle animation. It's kind of fun, actually. And we go on to the Wily stages. Let me tell you, I did one practice run just barely before I started the Secret of Mana run, and that went way worse. I would like to point out that this... music here is actually quite good if the game is allowed to play all the notes, so to speak. Like, it has the classic problem of NES not having enough sound channels and it just cuts into the music, but I genuinely really enjoy this piece of music right here. Also, I'm pretty sure on this Hawk there's more enemies coming from the backside than there is on the original console. Also, of course, this is not a scroller. There's not really any way for me to speed it up. Also, here, you have to do an incredibly precise jump in order to not get hit at all. Which is like, good luck with that. I don't even try currently because I don't know the positioning anymore. So, fun fact, here you can actually charge up your attack. And that charge attack actually does 10 damage. The little pellet attacks do, well, 1. So you can kind of guess which one is better to use against the boss. Interesting enough, the tool-assisted speedrun for this game uses pellet attacks because it can just mash that quickly. Also, this is not the boss. This is supposed to in the background and ejecting the boss. Honestly, this game has nice attention to detail. And also, it's pretty ambitious with trying to transition the music like this. Although, it does seem to fail at times once in a while. Kind of like before, if I get hit while charge attacking, I do lose my charge attack. Also, this guy has exactly 101 health, so my better option is to just shoot him once and then finish him off with charge attacks instead. Listen to this music. It's a random amount on how long it takes you in order to get to this next section here. I have no idea what influences it, but sometimes you get instantly into this tunnel where it just goes and sometimes it decides to just go ahead and play almost the entire soundtrack, which it was supposed to probably. Alrighty, now we are past the auto-scrolling section. This bike did not look the way I expected it to, but that's alright. And here we get to one of the levels that I usually tend to have a lot of trouble with, because it's very finicky in how you need to play it, so well, that doesn't help. We're already off-center. So by the way, you cannot duck and crawl. The only way you can go is to just dash that far. Like, you literally have to dash that far, it's a requirement. Oh, the dinosaur didn't spawn. There he is. Also, my goal here is to just have enough HP in order to survive damage boosting to this guy. Because on the next stage is actually pretty much the most fun one to speedrun. You go a bit to the left, duck and dash to the right, hold left, oops, messed that up, hold left, weave between the spikes, dash across here, land on this platform, dash straight above this thing here, wait until you have enough charge and just dash to the end. This was actually decent. Obviously you can still go better, but that's exactly what you want to do. I collected enough money to heal myself so I don't have to take the death. So this is the only boss, that's not true. This is the prime boss that has some form of randomness to him. It's random when he starts moving and which moves he does first. I try to hit him as soon as he starts moving, because depending on which move he does, he will immediately move back to his position. Also, of course, while he's just hovering in the top right corner, you can absolutely not hit him. That would just be silly. He's completely invulnerable doing this. So, this is the attack where I want to hit him immediately, and this is another attack where I would like to hit him immediately, because I can hit him twice during that long sweeping attack. However, unfortunately, not during this one, even if I were to hit him immediately. He dodged my attacks pretty well. Of course, 9 attacks again, and then we go on to the next stage. I even have enough HP to risk going for the next section. Oh, by the way, worth noting, I do not have any control over the jump height. Like, literally, I jump as high as I do, and I cannot decide to jump less. Alright, I'll mess this up. I needed to dash over. Continue? No. So this is, by the way, kind of one of the tricky stages if you're just used to quickly pressing continue, no, continue, yes. Because this one here, also, you just walk and ignore this thing. This one here has a bit of a weird one. There's a pit here at the bottom, and if you fall into it, it will always go immediately to the second continue screen. And also, by the way, another fun fact. Sometimes this minecart is just not here, and you fall to your doom. Really not much you can do about that. So, there's one more thing that is going to hit me, but that's okay. I'm just going to charge the attack afterwards. And mess this up. I need to... Well! I messed it up. How much more time do we have? This is where I needed to press continue, yes.
Like 10-ish? 10, 12 minutes?
Yeah, no. No feeling, no. Don't beat this game quite this fast. So, I'm sorry I messed up. That's exactly what I just mentioned. I was so used to just going continue, no, continue, yes, in order to avoid using up the literal continue, which would be equally bad as just pressing no right there. Now we just kind of went home. Rip Rocman X. I'm sorry, I kind of messed this up. Oh boy. Yeah, if you'd like to try this game, the last stage, actually no, the next stage after this one would have been actually quite fascinating. It's rather expansive even. Like, it's a pretty large stage, although you can just cheese it by going through certain sections that don't look necessarily like you can go through just through spikes. But it would take normally like about 3 times as long as I would take in a speedrun. But it's also kind of fun to explore, honestly. Again, this game is a terrible game with redeeming qualities. Truly any percent when you just quit, yep. Well then, I hope 10 minutes are not too much. Is that okay?
It should be fine because Scala is gonna do some setup time anyway, so...
Alrighty, well then. I would say thank you very much for having me here for the Secret Mana run and half a Rocman X run. That was quite pleasant. I'm going to be back with Stardew Valley eventually. Well, actually, for me it is going to be... Wait, when is that going to be? Stardew Valley? Like in a day or so? Pretty much
it's listed for tomorrow night, around 10:45 p.m.
Right, that's about 3 AM
Eastern time anyway.
That's going to be interesting, yeah. Alright, Stardew Valley co-op is going to be happening with Kishura, and that should be fun too. So thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for being so generous for donating to this very intriguing and noble cause. And well, I hope to see you next time again. Take care and enjoy the show.